All right, so we got Wisdom versus Pokelam here. So Wisdom, obviously one of the best duck hunts in North America, and Pokelam, one of the best villagers in North America as well, and probably of the respective characters too. So I don't know what duck hunt experience Pokelam has, but apparently he knew how to do some things. And then Wisdom, like, sort of knew some things to do against Villager, but not to the high level standard, just like very, very basic things. So, as I just mentioned before, when Villager uses Pocket, he can Pocket the can, but Duck Hunt's immediately able to summon another can. So, Pocket Can's not that big of an issue. Of course, he can also Pocket the Gunman, and he can Pocket the Clay Pigeon. Pocket Clay Pigeon isn't really too useful, since it's kind of hard for him to combo off of that. Like, he can get, like, Slingshot, but it's, like, the weak hit, so you don't really worry too much about that. The one you need to worry about is Pocket Gunman. You never use Gunman in this matchup, unless he's already pocketed something, so that way he can physically not pocket your Gunman. Because if he pockets Gunman, that gives him access to some of the most insane kill confirms out there, and when he releases it, it's just an unreactable beam that goes half across FD that can kill you at like 100, and if he absorbs Sombrero Gunman, he can kill you like at 80 or 90. It's actually insane how strong that is pocketed. So that is, honestly, like, Villager pocketing Gunman is the strongest move in the entire game. Like, there's no contest to that. It's basically Yo-Yo Glitch, except it kills you off of a beam, just by him pressing B. And it's like frame 4 too. It's honestly insane. No, Villager can't control the can if he pockets it. Yeah. So basically what happens is when he pockets the can, he could just throw it out and it goes into a set arc. And then he could technically slingshot it and you can technically hit it, but you run the risk of it blowing up on you. And if it blows up on you, Pocket can't get you at 90% if he has max rage. So you need to be careful. The main classic thing that a lot of villagers do if they don't know the matchup is they'll throw out the can like right on your shield and they'll blow themselves up and die at 90. So they have to be very, very careful with it. It's a very good tool to use as a ledge trapping because you need to avoid the can to avoid dying. So if they do that, that's really good. And if they know like different ways to use it out of combos, then that means the villager knows what they're doing with it. But if they just kind of pocket it and then throw it out, then they probably aren't too experienced in the matchup, or they've blown themselves too many times that they're kind of uncomfortable using it. So at that point, you can kind of just keep pelting them with cans without really worrying. And the fact that you have can to hit the can as well means you don't even have to worry about it even more. Because if your can collides with that, then both cans just blow up right there. So it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, no, it's insane. Villager Pocket Can is an insane move in terms of how strong it is. But yeah, basically the main thing is don't let him pocket Gunman, which Wisdom didn't know that going into this, and that's a huge thing. And I think Pokelam at least knew how to take advantage of that. So that is something that we should see fairly often throughout the set. Like, honestly, if he pockets Gunman, there's not really anything you can do safely. You just gotta hope that he doesn't throw it out, because you literally can't react to it. Like, I think it comes out like frame 4 or something. Let me see if it says it on UFD. I don't think it does, but there's a chance. Yeah, pocket throws frame 9, so it's a frame 9 unreactable move. It's like he barely moves. But yeah, you have to remember, like, the second it hits frame 9, the attack is like basically the size of this Go logo. It's nutty, and it can kill you. So yeah, with all that ado, let's dive right into it. So first up, Pokemon Stadium, not a bad stage to go to. As I mentioned a lot, this is the longest stage of all the legal ones that we can go to. And having more time to set up as Duck Hunt is always going to be beneficial to you. And like in this stage, is like with pretty much any character, like there's not really an exception to the rule, at least to my knowledge. I think pretty much all of them. If I ever come into contact with one where it's like, okay, maybe you want more, you want it to be smaller, this will probably always be that benefit to you. Sometimes though, if you're really good with Duck Hunt, and especially getting that initial opening, having a smaller stage like Smashville will make it easier for you to overwhelm your opponent since they can't land anywhere. But like that's kind of more of a player-based thing. In general, the more time that you have to set up, the better it's going to be for the Duck Hunt player. And like there's not really any setting up that Villager can do that can force Duck Hunt to approach. And that's one issue that Wisdom ran into. He said that like he kept camping him and he didn't really think there was a good response. But like realistically, he could just chuck Lloyd Rocket at you, and really who cares about that? Because like you have Cam and you can just kind of jump around the Lloyd Rocket and you know, just not really worry about his pressure. Because, like, really, Villager's only going to do damage to you once he gets close from afar. There's not really too much of a threat. Like, when he throws out Lloid Rocket, it's so he can approach you. That's really it. Well, Lilac? Lilac's not too bad either. But it's still shorter than Pokemon Stadium. But the thing that you have to be careful about is, yeah, right there, he immediately pocketed Sombrero Gunman. So he can save this the entire time and, like, realistically kill Wisdom at 90. So, like, that's the issue right there. The other thing, too, is you can use the Gunman and the Clay Pigeon to block the Gunman projectile from hitting you. So these used to be transcendent, but now that it's not, you can at least set up a defense against the Gunman being used against you. But overall, like, he can combo into Gunman, Pocket Gunman out of throws. So that's the reason why you don't want to give it to him. And out of, like, Nair, too, I believe. This is not record properly. Or, I know, it's just YouTube freaking out. Are we going to have YouTube issues again? That would be fun. Throw it down to 720. Okay. Let's just restart. Yeah, like, honestly, now that he's pocketed Gunman, Wisdom actually does have to play pretty scared. So by setting this up, he actually does set up himself for a free approach. So basically what you do is let this go the full distance, and then you ping the can on him, and then he should have enough time to get a fair on him to either shield poke him, or he has to, like, do some defensive option to get out of this. Yeah, but he didn't approach there. So yeah, he could have done the Clay Pigeon there to that. Yeah, so, like, right there, he blocked Gunman. So at this point, you want to make sure that he doesn't get access to another Gunman. Yeah, it's blocked by Gunman. It's the first time I see somebody use the Dawangthang emote. Outside of the first time they subscribe. So, yeah, actually, right over here. Not this one. This. So, like, if he actually jumped Baird right there, he Pokelam probably would have fallen to the can explosion there, and he'd probably be at, like, 70%. Like, this is, like, 20-something%. It's absurdly strong. What's up, dude? Yeah. Yeah, he just missed that. Honestly, if he got that one, that would have been very dangerous. Yeah, so actually watching this set, I can tell that Pokelam doesn't really know this matchup because, like, specifically with the Gunman, he wasn't really being smart about trying to combo into it. He's basically pocketing all these projectiles and he's just trying to throw them out in, like, strategic places, but he's not really thinking about, like, how he can combo into them or how it's really going to set up his set. He's going to get a better setup off of these. It's kind of mindless for the most part. Oh, yeah, that was scary. So the thing that you do have to remember about Bowling Ball is, like, you can't actually throw out a hitbox to, like, clank it out because it's like a projectile, so it doesn't really have much priority to it. So if he did, like, jump and back air over here, he probably, not only would he have killed him, but it should have canceled out the Bowling Ball too. That was weird. Yeah, like, see right there, like, if Pokelam knew the matchup, the second that Gunman came out, he would have just waited and pocketed that. Because at 104, with that much rage, you can definitely kill with Orange Gunman. Also, using Gunman to take the Lloid Rocket's not a bad idea. Because at that point, the gunmen are guaranteed not to shoot. And then it stays down like this, and it actually will absorb any Lloyd rockets that he throws on the ground. So that's not a bad idea. That's a good idea to do. Yeah, just bad timing from Wisdom over there. Yeah, honestly, something to keep in mind is like if villagers just doing like short hop slingshot, as they do that first short hop one, keep running. And then, like, after he shoots that first one, you do your jump because he's probably going to do a landing slingshot afterwards. And then, generally by that point, you should be able to get a fair on him. At least, like, if you're at... I would say, like, if you're right at this part and he's over here, he does short hop fair. And then after the slingshot goes above you, you jump. And if he does, like, the second landing fair, then you should be able to hit him. Because, like, he's not really lagless when he does these aerials. He has 14 frames of landing lag, so it's actually like decent. It's actually pretty significant. And you just always have to remember that like your attacks can beat up the slingshot. That was just really bad ledge coverage from Wisdom there. That was hilarious. He got really lucky that up smash didn't come out. And like the one issue I'm seeing right now from Wisdom is like he's kind of playing it like Villager as a grounded character. He's not trying to hit him in the air as much, and that's where he's gonna spend like 90% of his time as Villager. And like Villager's not really a matchup you clay pigeon in. Yeah, that was smart. Oh, got some bits. Vimo Goomba, thanks for the bits. Oh, I think there's a message there. Yo, these CBs are definitely very interesting for sure, which is why I'm in a very small court along with a learn to them. Totally didn't know anything about them before looking like an idiot in the Game Watch Discord. Wait, what crew battle are we talking about? There's no crew battle going on. Oof, that was brutal. But yeah, like again, like right there was no reason for Wisdom to run back. Like the second that he threw out the Lloyd rocket, he could just like jump under him and like up air him or fair him. Also, like right there, with the second that he does like that pocket, that's just like that was pretty much like a free grab, free fair, free bear from that position. That was so bad. Yeah, he has to keep in mind that the can's gonna blow up the second it touches something. So yeah, again, he's not taking that into consideration. You also have to remember that like whenever he has the bowling ball, you can just get up attack it, and as long as he hasn't released it, like your get up attack's gonna hit him. That's it. Yeah, you're gone. That's a classic ship Villager shield break setup. No, we don't do any crew battles. Oh no, this is a match critique stream. That's why it says match critiques. Yeah, there's not much of a crew battle anywhere. Yeah, again, like just not paying attention to like pocketed can there. So, okay, that's the one instance where you can use Clay Pigeon. Like, if this villager is doing nothing but, like, double slingshot, like, they're always landing with it, you can buffer a Clay Pigeon out. So, basically, it cancels all the lag that you get from the move, and, like, the Clay Pigeon will just go through the slingshot and punish him. So, that is something to keep in mind. But, again, that's more of a hard rate thing, because he can easily slingshot, and then you buffer it, and then he could just jump over it and then punish you. So... you can't make it obvious, but like, let's say he's at like 80% and this Clay Pigeon is going to lead to a kill. It's a good thing to keep in mind. Again, like his gunman usage is really bad, but none of them are really aware of how good that is for villager. Also, like at this percentage right here, here's like a little cheeky thing you can do. When you have a percent disparity like this, obviously when you both blow up by the can, you're not going to die. So what you do is, like, if they're recovering from far away and they want to pocket it, you could just jump right on top of him, and if he decides to blow himself up, he's dead. At this percentage, he's not living. If he's that far to the blast zone, he's gone. So you can do that. So it's like, okay, you can either air dodge, you can do a normal fair, but like if he does like a fair or nair, and let's say you have your back turned to him so you can hit him with a bear, he's going to die to the bear. So otherwise he'll have to air dodge, which you can still trap that by like jumping and doing a nair. And of course, as I mentioned, if he does go for like the can rethrow, he's like, oh, this is strong. Well, he blows up 2 and he dies, as long as you're right next to him. I actually got really lucky there. That can should have blown up on the gunman if it was just spaced a little bit differently. Yeah, again, like right there, there was a pretty obvious like way to just anti-air him. So like, hold up. So right here. So he had that zone covered. And then, like, at this point, Lloyd Rocket's going to come over here and hit the gunman. So what you do here is, like, you can just, like, instinctively crawl under and then, like, just do an up tilt. Or you just, like, turn around and then, like, jump back air to cover this area right here. Because the Lloyd Rocket's going to dip down over here. Also, the other thing to keep in mind about Clay Pigeon is, like, one reason why it's also not, like, the worst thing to throw in this matchup is just because if he does pocket Clay Pigeon, as I mentioned before, it doesn't really do too much for him. So if there's a zone where you can throw Clay Pigeon to, like, just blow up Lloyd Rocket, that's not really a bad thing. Like, you'll get damage. And you know, he's not... at least a good villager probably shouldn't want to pocket it. You only pocket it really to just, like, avoid the damage. So it's kind of something you can do as a stalling tactic. Yeah, see, like, that right there, like, sure, he could have jumped over it and all that stuff, but Villager's a little bit too far away to really get a meaningful punish there, and it just stops, like, the entire Lloyd Rocket pressure that would have come from it. I mean, pocketing Pigeon's the best solution, because if he pockets Gan or Gunman, that could kill you. Kids are, like, a lot easier to avoid, but, like, Pigeon's just, like, a very non-threatening move to get hit by when it's pocketed by Villager. Like, it's just like, you know, I think like overall it does like closer to like 16% or something like that, but you know, it's not really the worst thing in the world. Like, it's never going to really lead to a kill or something like that. Just decent damage. Oh, yeah, like, right there, like, after he did that down smash after hitting his first part, he could have done just, like, short hop fair. That would have hit him. Or if anything, he could have actually just run up and up smashed him, I think. Let me see how negative the first hit of down smash is. Yeah, the first hit's negative 35, so he could have dropped shield and just, like, walked up and up smashed. Online, though, so hard to react in that case, but... Well, the thing is... No, so... the tree will blow up Lloyd. It's a wall, and the Lloyd itself can't get past that. I think if Villager pockets Clay Pigeon, it's only one type of throw. We can test that real quickly, though. Let me... Let's look. I'm not sure. I believe it's only 1 speed, though. So that's a fast toss. That's a slow toss. Okay, so whenever he pockets it, it's whatever you threw. So if you throw a hard toss, then he's going to throw a hard toss. If you threw a soft toss, and that's what he pocketed, then he's going to throw a soft toss. Okay. So that's good to know. So that's another way you can kind of manipulate it. And see, like, that's the other thing, too, is, like, when the gunman's going there and he's throwing out Lloyd, he can pocket through the Lloyd to absorb the gunman, too. And he's not doing that. That was really bad DI. Yeah. Good there was no... What's it called? Good patience on that. Yeah. That's just not being familiar with Villager itself. Let me double check something real quick. I want to say the tree can hit you if you're grabbing ledge. Pretty sure it can. So it's like whenever he does do the tree growth, you do have to... Actually, let me see. Yeah, so I think if he plants it at ledge, this should catch... I want to say this will catch Duck Hunt. So basically, you're going to be forced to drop down, or you're going to be forced to roll or get up attack through it. Those are your options at that point. And if you do get up attack, he can axe you very easily. And if you roll, he can cover that with up smash or up tilt. Also, the other thing too is like he's doing a really bad of like ledge trapping. Because, like, basically what you can do is, like, whenever he summons Lloyd, like, you can just jump out and bear him during that. Because, like, he's kind of stuck in the animation, and Lloyd's not going to hit you immediately. Also, that's something else I should mention, is if he is doing, like, if he's doing slingshot pressure, if you do nair, and as long as the slingshot hits one of your nair hitboxes, it just beats out the attack. So it's an easy way to use as an approach. Yeah, again, it's like Wisdom's kind of putting himself in a lot of situations where he can't get the kill. Like, he's getting behind him instead of, like, holding the center position. Because if you hold the center position, it's so much easier to get the kill. Also, yeah, he's not canceling his aerial, his up B. So that's a huge issue right there. Like, if he canceled that, he would have been able to at least stuff him out or drift a lot more and land with, like, a lot less lag. Yeah, see, so, like, right there, that was kind of an issue. Falling down with the fair was, like, the correct idea, so you could at least hit back the can. It's just the attack missed. I keep doing that. That was kind of neat. Hold up. Let's look at that. So yeah, if you want to see like a really fast way to like send Canic fly across, throw out Gunman, and then if you get Black One and you hit it, it's gonna send it like right over there. Yeah, like there, that's just not being patient at ledge. Oh, looked really goofy. That was just a bad place to throw a can. That was a really good call from Wisdom. So that's something that you need to focus on a lot is whenever you're making him pocket, you want to punish him as hard as you possibly can if you're able to set up things like that. Like the F smash was really hard because most of the time if he pockets, he's going to be in the air. But like it's a very easy way to set up for a back air or an up air. He just blew himself up, dang. Yeah, like whenever you're trying to recover against bowling ball, it's one of those things that you need to make sure you space properly, and then like you pressure him with can first, and then you air dodge back if he's still able to throw out the bowling ball. That's what you have to focus on. But overall, like he's one of the best characters at edge guarding Duck Hunt with like how deep he can go, so it's not really an easy thing to do. But yeah, no, overall, like in neutral, he's not really being like conscious about like how he's using projectiles. Like you need to be thinking about focusing. You focus on can on him a lot. And especially if he's being like this careless about like catching and then just like tossing it out, it's really easy to just kind of get under him and then like up air. And if your up air hits the can, sometimes the can will just launch right into him. It'll launch them both up here and then he gets blown up by that pocketed can. He dies super early. The other thing too is like when he's focusing like a lot on the slingshot neutral and like Lloyd, you kind of do the same idea against like the Belmonts and Min Min. You keep Can in the air, so then that way as you're approaching him, he has to like deal with Can that's going above the slingshots, and then like the main thing you have to do is like jump over Lloyd, and he's either gonna try to hit the can or he's gonna pocket the can. And at that moment you can jump over, and then you're in an area where he kind of has to like RPS, and because he's so floaty and he's so high in the air, you can kind of react to whatever option that he chooses, and he doesn't really have a way to escape you. You just have to see what option chooses, like whether he does nair, landing dare, throws the can, or tries to like do like another Lloyd stall or something like that. You could just kind of react to all those options. If he does a directional air dodge, as long as you didn't commit to an attack in a direction, you can respond to the air dodge very easily too. So overall, it does make that approach game a lot easier. The main thing that like Villager's good at is like if he's just purposely like trying to aim his slingshot just to like mess with your can, then that can be a little annoying, but like overall it's not really that big of a deal. Because like if he's just slingshotting you and you're just approaching with the dog by himself, then like overall you're still going to be able to outmaneuver him in every way possible. And then like, you know, you're fair when you get to that close, like that mid-range thing, you're going to do a lot better than him just because like your fair is going to go through slingshot anyways. Oh yeah, no. If they've got like if they do pocket a can, they can just die so early. It's hilarious. But yeah, like knowing how to manipulate that's very important. Knowing how to use gunman, because like once he pockets can and once he pockets like clay pigeon and he's holding on to it more, then you can start like throwing like gunman on the platforms to pressure him in the air. You can keep gunman on the ground to like shoot down Lloyd Rocket, so that allows you to run under him a lot easier without having to worry about it. And not to mention, it's like you can't always use gunman as like a wall against like the Lloyd Rocket and the slingshots. So like if you get special down gunman, like the black coat or the lanky one, and they die to like the, you know, they die to slingshot or they die to the Lloyd Rocket, you know, that's a wall that like Villager's forced to approach you in. Oh yeah, that's so common. Jump can roll into the explosion and they die. That's the one thing Pokelam wasn't doing. It's like he very clearly doesn't know how to fully like abuse how good pocketed projectiles are. Like can is like in very specific scenarios. But yeah, he at least wasn't blowing himself up. Like he was at least smart enough to do that. Which, you know, that's expected from, you know, a good player. But you know, overall just wisdom, like in general, is just like the neutral theory just was not there. Let me talk about that a bit more. Because I don't feel like I covered neutral enough on that. See, so it's like right here at this point, because he just avoided this is a really good position to be as Duck Hunt, because your burst options are going to be a lot better than Villagers. But yeah, see, like there, all he could do was like throw CAD, and as long as like he crawled backwards, there wasn't really too much Villager could do. Like Villager could set up a Lloyd Rocket, where at that point, like you could just kind of like jump over and nair. So then that way you can like cancel out the Lloyd Rocket, and then you can just kind of tap him with it too. And then you would be able to avoid the can still. But like if you decide to do like any other option, like roll in or something like that, you'd be able to respond to it. That was just a bad air dodge. See, like right there, that's the reason why like Clay Pigeon against Slingshot can be good. As long as you know he's going to do it landing. And like once you hit Villager, your goal should be to just like keep him juggled. Because Villager's not going to land too easily against Duck Hunt. See, like now that he has like Gunman there, legitimately Villager cannot get any projectiles past this thing. So this is a really strong thing to have. So if like Wisdom just like jumps and camps around here, Villager has nothing he can do to get around this. So like literally he could just like wait here and wait for Villager to get to this point and like be ready to throw a fair or an up air around this area, just because like automatically he knows he'll beat anything Villager does. Yeah, like that right there, like when Villager was over here, all he had, if he didn't press Gunman there, because first of all, at this point, when he decided to press Gunman, Villager was already in burst range. So like there, this is already a bad Gunman just because Villager could just run through a dash attack. But like if he waited, and then he sees Villager do this, you could just like legitimately run under this and then just jump nair or jump up air him. In this case, I would say like jump nair would probably be your best option because like he did short hop distance. Jump up air might just he probably would fall out of that. So like that's why like waiting's pretty important. But there, you know, he's able to do standard Gunman things. But yeah, again, like right here, this is kind of a mistake. So like, it would have been much better for him to hold his ground here. Because like most of the time, Villager's not going to go for the grab. And if he goes for the grab, it's slow enough you can react to it. Obviously online, harder to do. But then if he goes back and does something like this, you could literally just run under and hit him for going for Lloyd Rocket over here. So like, that's the thing. Like Lloyd Rocket is just a lot more punishable than Wisdom's making it out to be. But then again, this is on Wi-Fi. The thing that you have to remember is... Oh, it's actually a little bit faster than I thought. So it does take only 35 frames for it to work, and then he can act after that. But like just punishing him out of Lloyd Rocket is just important. Yeah, like as right there, as I mentioned, it's like he could do like up tilt or just so many other things right there. And like overall, it's just like he's not doing a good job ledge trapping him because like that's kind of like where you're gonna get a lot of kills from. Like over here, Lloyd is guaranteed to hit the gunman. And like he just kind of decides to retreat. Whereas like if he stayed right there, like right behind this gunman, he could just run up and up smash him and he's dead. Yeah, right idea over there. It's just unfortunately he missed his up air. Again, just like not really like at that point, like if you're both in the scramble situation, you can either just try to go to like run away and reset, or in this case, it's just like wait for him to do his aerials and then wait for the landing part because he's gonna short hop aerial and then he's probably gonna do another one to land, and then if he decides to jump again, then you can shark him with up airs. It's generally gonna be your rule of thumb against like Villager and Isabel. Yeah, then right there, that's just not knowing. He could punish that very easily. Yeah, so like at this pot, you know Gunman's gonna go down because like it's hitting his legs and not the hat there. So you just kind of keep back. But like he's just losing so much ground by moving so far away that he's moving it. Like the biggest issue Wisdom's having is he's retreating too much ground, and instead of staying in an area where he can just kind of threaten villager zone, because like as long as Wisdom was not moving that far away from Gunman, realistically all these options villager could go for, he could just get in and punish him with like a fair very easily. And when he gets him in the easiest areas to kill, he's just not capitalizing. But yeah, I think that's kind of like that last comment I said. Like, I think that kind of comes down to like the main default reasons why Wisdom lost this was that he gave up too much ground to make himself effectively a punish finisher villager, doesn't know how to effectively use the projectiles in neutral. And he doesn't know to take advantage of the fact that like Pokelam doesn't exactly know what he's doing with these projectiles either. Because like if you take advantage of making him always pocket can and he's always throwing it, that's a very easy habit to exploit. And then when you take away that habit and he starts holding on can more, that's when you can start using Gunman to pressure that. And then that makes it so much easier to manipulate where he's going. And if you know where to get those clay pigeons in and he's like at 100, like 110, then you'll be able to kill him really, really easily too. So yeah, no. Overall, kind of showed off like good awareness, like good character awareness from both players, but not matchup experience. That's the issue. It's like, okay, I kind of know how these moves work, but I don't know how to put them to a concrete plan. It's just like, this is how I know I play safe, and that was it. There was no, it's like, okay, this is what I do to counter this character in every single way. Clearly, both players didn't really know that, and just in those type of scenarios, especially if you're giving up as much ground as Wisdom, it's a lot easier for Villager to kill in these situations than Duck Hunt is, which I think is ultimately the reason why Pokelam was able to take the advantage there in the end. And yeah, I think it's gonna be it for this one.